Hello, everybody. The sound of that voice means only one thing. That means RYNO is in control this evening. I'll be your pilot. Thank you for joining us on this 1 hour flight. The weather where we land is going to be wonderful.
It's not wonderful down here, by the way.
I am joined always by my friends to the south. Jack, how you doing, bud?
Hey, man. I'm great. Thank you so much for asking. The weather has been crap, but I'm excited. The superhero movies are starting to roll.
And, of course, we got the pasta shredder himself, Nello.
I am not super-tastic. We'll get into that later. Not super-tastic. That's all.
Okay. And in other news, all right. Thank you for joining us to episode 197. We got a lot to unpack this evening, as you can tell by Nello's seasoning. Nello's response there. We're going to talk about Superman, and I'm going to warn you now before you even get too far into the show. This is not a spoiler-friendly episode. We are going to dive into some spoiler content for Superman. So if you don't want to have that movie spoiled, pause right now, go watch the movie, come back, and tune right back in.
Well, we can do a little bit of non-spoiler.
Louise,
I was just saying overall for the overall nature of the episode, you will eventually get to a point in the convo where you hear spoilers.
I agree with that wholeheartedly. I'd like to give us some non-spoiler reactions before we get into the nitty-gritty. If that's okay with you.
Why don't we hit him with Superman at the second half of the show? Let's get that first.
That's what we're going to do.
Yeah, that's
with some kung fu magic.
We're actually going to kick it off to you, Nello. You are going to start our topic for the evening.
Me? Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So I have a problem.
He's doing double duty. He's doing this and he's conspiratizing.
I might conspiratize. I don't know. It depends if we have time.
Okay. All right.
Let's depends if we have time. Guys, it's so much to talk about, so little time.
True.
I have a problem with these movie studios. I was already pissed when I got the Thunderbolts ruined, but I believe when Marvel dropped this revised trailer about what now again, if you haven't seen it, spoiler alert, sorry.
Good call.
That's very good call. Very good call.
When Marvel drops again, I think they might have gone under the pressure that Superman might be too good, people might be too happy, we gotta stay relevant, even though their trailer was before the movie. But why did they need to tell us what Galactus asked for? Why did we need to know that before the movie even comes out? What is the point of seeing the movie anymore? Okay. Not seeing the movie might not be right, but the whole premise of the movie is he doesn't want to give up his kid. Spoiler alert, that's it, right?
So let me ask you a question then, Nello. In response to that, I'm not trying to say you're wrong in the slightest bit. We're just going to play devil's advocate here. What do you think happens now based off of that trailer?
My problem isn't I don't care what happens now.
Well, no, I'm genuinely asking. Like, if that spoiled it, it obviously gave you some sort of idea of how the movie ends.
Forget that. I'll go to that later.
It's a valid question.
Right, my problem is this: trailers, whatever you want to call it, they need to be like, hey, it's like that. It's like your bait, right? You don't want to give the fish the meal and be like, all right, bro, I don't want you. I'm just throwing this. At this point, just throw the fish out, just throw the shrimp in the water, and no one's going to go see the movie. You need to have a cliffhanger. Now the cliffhanger's gone. The enticement of the enticement of media. What the hell does Galactus want? Why is he coming to Earth? Why is he coming to this reality? Why? It's gone. Just like in Thunderbolts when they called them the New Avengers, it was gone. That moment, that satisfaction of not sacrificing, of giving this studio 2-3 hours of your day to be completely engulfed in a story is gone, because you have a main part, a main storyline ruined because of why? Did we need this? My question to everybody is, did we need to know before the movie comes out that Reed doesn't want to give up his kid?
Well, that's, first of all, you can assume that he's not going to give up his kid because he's a dad. But the first point I'd like to get back to is Galactus isn't coming to Earth for Franklin Richards. He's coming to Earth to devour the Earth, and he tells Reed, I won't devour the Earth for your kid.
This is your assumption.
No, he said.
No, that's what he said. He said they went to talk to him, and he said, give me your kid, and I won't destroy the world.
So that's all assumed. They said
What do you
he
mean?
asked. They said, I think the quote was, "What he asked was too high." And they said, "Well, what do you want?" And he said he asked for our son. Now, there's a lot to unpack there. I agree with Rhino. I think Galactus is definitely on his way to Earth to devour it. I think the Fantastic Four, and this is all my thoughts, which is thought engaging due to the trailer, that the Fantastic Four went out there to challenge Galactus and say, "Hey, we don't want you to devour Earth. Can we find you other options?" And Galactus, I don't think, wants other options. So he's going to say something compelling to us, the audience, like, "Okay, your son is powerful. I'll take him. Give me your son, and I won't devour the Earth," knowing it's a lose lose. I think it's just upping the stakes for it because obviously Reed's going to say no. And I think this just sets up a good sparring session verbally, obviously, between the Fantastic Four and Galactus. Now, before we started the show, you said that, do I think trailers are misleading? Or do I think trailers
Are
give
giving
away
you
the movie?
yeah.
I think in some regard they can be, but I also think we won't know that until we've seen the movie. You can't make that assessment on whether or not the entire movie has been ruined if you haven't seen it yet. You are basing the entire probably 2 hours off of something you saw in 10 seconds from a trailer. And I think there's a lot more to be unpacked by actually watching the movie. And nobody's under any obligation at any time to watch these trailers. You don't have to. You can avoid that if you want. I mean, but
I mean, if
do
you're
I
watching
think
anything on television,
do I personally think that they give away a lot in the trailer? Yeah, I do. I think they're also at a point in their lives where you have to get people to the theater. That is their lifeblood. That's how they're making their money. They need your ass in the seat. So they need something compelling to get you there. And they also know this. Everybody knows the story of the Fantastic Four. You already know. They get their powers in the freaking science experiment, and Galactus is their main villain. That's what you know. So there's a lot of people out there probably looking at the Fantastic Four going, I don't really care, because it's just going to be the Fantastic Four versus Galactus. And can Marvel make it look better than previous iterations? And Marvel said, we're going to throw an extra card in your hand and see something else that might tantalize you. And I think I personally don't like it. I'm with you, Nello. I think it's a bit much. I would rather have found that out organically. Do I think it ruins the movie? No, I don't think so. But again, we won't be able to make that assessment until we're walking out of the theater.
You're also forgetting what you said in the chat earlier too, which is an important part of this argument, and that's Marvel lies with their trailers.
Yeah.
They can be like, I mean, the most famous example of that is in Infinity War when they show the Hulk running through Wakanda. And it turns out that Bruce Banner couldn't turn into the Hulk at the very beginning of the movie.
But that wasn't a lie. That was
the Hulk was never in Wakanda. It was Bruce Banner in a Hulkbuster Iron Man suit.
The only thing he does is bust out a Bruce Banner, scream no, and go away. That's the only time Hulk scenes in Wakanda in that movie.
There's no way they're lying about this, because
why?
She walks through a crowd with the baby. The baby is a main focal shot in a few scenes towards the end of the trailer. And my thing isn't the original trailer. The original trailer isn't what made me angry. I thought that was okay. You get a little bit of that. You get the Silver Surfer. You get that little carrot. My problem is with this added clip that they released a few days ago about they asked for my son. That's a suspenseful moment in the movie. That is something that you want to, like, what, you know what I mean? I don't know. Maybe I'm not portraying my sentiment correctly.
I get what you're saying. You feel like it's too much. I think Franklin Richards will be a big part of it. I don't think he's going to be as big as you're saying he is. Clearly, they're alluding to how powerful he is. But the addition of Franklin into the movie is, well, he can have the ability to ruin the Fantastic Four's teamwork, right? Because before, they're just family, they're working together, they're all adults. Now you throw a child into the mix, and somebody on that team is going to have to be worrying about Franklin, and there's got to be something that keeps them from being at their full potential. And so this again is another way to throw a different iteration of the Fantastic Four that we know and love. Because when the Fantastic Four are at their best, all four of them are working in unison and they pretty much dominate when that happens. So when you add a baby that literally every member of that team is going to be obsessed with, it's hard for them to focus on anything other than him. And that sets them up to get their ass whooped. I think that's the compelling part of leaving Franklin so front and center in the trailer.
Yeah, I would also go to say that the Infinity War trailer probably is going to be a bigger lie than this one, if it turns out to not be true. I mean, you already had Hulk in the MCU. He's already a much more beloved character to the average goer than Franklin Richards would be. So to allude that he was a part of the Battle of Wakanda and then it turns out he could never actually appear in the film is a much bigger lie to me than this issue with Franklin Richards. I mean, if it doesn't happen in the movie, I'm not going to be like, oh, what? That's exactly what people did with Hulk.
Let's be honest, because that Hulk inclusion in the Battle of Wakanda makes that fight incredibly different.
No, it's a game changer.
You're not going to have Black Panther and Captain America racing into the danger and Thor coming in to save the day. You're going to have the big green guy peeling the shield open so he can fight everybody all at once. So it's a different fight. It's a different dynamic. I think it was a major mislead to not have Hulk there because that's what we wanted. We wanted that big fight like we had in Avengers 1 where Hulk was there. So him not being there was a major MacGuffin in the beginning of the movie that made you go, well, holy shit. And then you go, okay, well, it's going to be one of those moments where he shows up at the end because he's in the trailer. And then that moment where he calls out, all right, Hulk, this is it. You think that's where you're going to get that moment. And you don't get it again. Because let's be honest, Thanos at the end trying to contend with Thor, Cap, Black Panther, and Hulk, and Scarlet Witch is a bit insurmountable than having that big green extra factor gone, right? Because when Hulk fights Thanos the first time, it's him versus the entire Black Order, and Thanos takes him out by himself. You add those other elements of his team that can fight, it's a different movie. So again, I think them saying that, I think maybe it's even a lie.
Do you think that Marvel might have been maybe a little worried about this Superman release and wanted to stay relevant in the nerd realm, the comic book realm? So they're like, let's throw this out there.
No.
Didn't you think the timing was a little bit sus?
No.
To be honest with you, I think I said this a couple weeks ago. I think Marvel needs Superman to be successful because if people go watch Superman and it sucks, they're far less likely to be like, oh, well, a couple weeks later, let's go watch this movie now. Well, the last superhero movie was garbage. Let's just wait until it comes out on Disney.
I was going to say the same exact thing because, I mean, that one's going to be iron sharpening iron because they want to bring the heat. They needed Superman to do well because superhero movie fatigue in general is a major thing. So you're right. If Superman, doesn't perform, then Marvel's going, oh crap. So I think it's more them throwing an extra cookie on top of that. Like, hey, by the way, if you like this is what we're doing. I don't think Marvel's at a stage where they're threatened by DC.
Not yet, at least.
They've got so much going for them right now. They are still the big dogs. So they're rooting for them to do well because them doing well means they do well. So that's my opinion.
But these types of movies don't need you to spoil the whole 39 They don't need you to give them a cliffhanger moment. People are going to go in a superhero movie. This is from 39 years of living on this planet and watching these movies. You're either going to go see a movie like this or you're not. You know what I mean? It's not like you're not because if you're a person who likes dramas and like real movies, you're not going to go see a superhero movie. But if you're a guy that likes comics, likes video games, likes just the culture, you're going to go see a movie that's made for Marvel or DC.
So, right? No, the thing that I want to say in response to that is you're assuming that that's a cliffhanger moment, but it's really not though, because we know for a fact the Fantastic Four fights Galactus. The terms on which they fight is almost irrelevant at this point. We know a battle happens regardless. So them releasing any info about Franklin Richards being a part of some deal doesn't really matter a whole lot, because whether it's because of Franklin or just to save the Earth, they're going to fight regardless.
It's true.
And to answer your original question, I believe that this just proves how important Franklin really is. Because if he doesn't want to give up his own son, which no father is going to sacrifice their child.
Yeah, Galactus can catch all these hands.
Exactly, right?
I will fuck up the fungus under his toes.
So it makes it even, because even if you look at that cut scene, if you look at that cut scene after the Thunderbolts with the ship with the four things, who is it not? I'm going to double down and say Franklin Richards comes into this whatever Earth or whatever reality,
616.
yeah, 616, wherever we are, he comes in. So I believe this makes his character even more important.
I would actually double down on that bet too, because I am actually more inclined for the opposite reason. I'm more inclined to believe that this is all of the Fantastic Four running from whatever the culmination of their movie is.
That's what I think it is too. I think it's the whole team. You don't get Pedro Pascal, the kid from Stranger Things, Ebon Moss-Bachrach, and I forget the young lady who's playing
Kirby.
Yeah, Vanessa Kirby.
Yep.
I don't think you get all of them signed on to be Fantastic Four and then just have the baby show up.
It's a one-off movie. They get killed off, and then the baby comes and steals the show.
Unless Pedro Pascal is a part of the biggest bait and switch we've ever seen, they come back with Krasinski or something.
Oh my God, that would be that would probably tank a Marvel pretty quick.
No, I think that would actually double down, because people want him to be.
No, I think
people are on the Pascal train.
They're on the Pascal train for sure. I don't think he's a better choice. I think Krasinski looks more like a Reed Richards to me.
And sounds.
But you know what? Here's the weird thing. Pascal's in everything. Everything. Yeah. And I still don't hate him yet. I'm not sick of seeing him.
What is the last movie that he's made where you're like, it's not terrible, but it's not your best? What's his
the one he did with it was not Brad Pitt, it was Ben Affleck, it was him, it was God, who else was in it? It was a Netflix movie where they went into Central America to steal a bunch of money. They were Dameron Poe. Oscar Isaac was also in it. Wasn't Pedro Pascal in there?
That I thought was dumb was The Statesman, the Kingsman 2. That one I didn't like him in. Or
I didn't know he was in that.
Yeah, he's one of the statesmen.
Yeah, he is.
Who helps the main character.
Oh, all right, cool.
Yeah, it was interesting. I thought like he played the role well. He wasn't the problem. The character and just the whole premise, I was kind of like, okay, I could do that.
All right, so what we're gonna do now, we are going to have our spoiler-free portion of the Superman talk.
No, we're not. We're talking about movies, aren't we?
We're going to save that topic. A certain someone requested that we save that topic for him next week.
Oh, is it the black guy?
Yeah.
He's like, wait for me, guys. I'm on my way. And he's like,
so I'm going to honor that request in his name.
That's fair.
So what we'll do is we'll do the spoiler-free portion of the Superman talk first. We'll take a quick break, and then once we come out of our break, that will be your spoiler warning, and we will go into the spoiler portion.
We already know his number
discussion.
one movie is Mean Girls.
Okay,
so like
Mean Girls. Yeah,
seriously,
it's one of the most endearing qualities about my dear friend who I've done so many podcasts with this at this point. It's one of my favorites, and he will shout out Mean Girls quotes out in public. It's hysterical.
Yeah. I've seen it. I've heard it.
She doesn't even go here, like in public.
When you see him in person, you would never think that this is a Mean Girls type of guy.
You never guessed that he can quote that movie start to
so
finish.
Much.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. I didn't.
No, that's all right.
I didn't check the chat.
So, the first question.
I'm so sorry. If I may, before I interrupt here, I'm sorry. Episode 200. I want to reiterate, we are wanting to go live.
Live.
Not a lot of details yet, but I know that we're going to want you guys there asking questions, pelting us with them. We're going to try to do some fun stuff for you to mark the occasion for episode 200. I can just say right now, I'm deeply honored that the two men on camera and the one who's not have been here with us for most of this journey. So thank you guys. I
Behind
really
the scenes
appreciate
for
you.
me.
Behind the scenes for you for sure. Ryan's been here
It's the
since
beginning.
like episode 4 or 5.
Mhm.
And RYNO has been kind of he hasn't been on the show for as long, but he and I have been talking comic books and angles and topics and shit since I started doing the show. He actually
I've actually been here for 2/3 of the show.
Yeah.
I started like episode 77, I think it was.
There you
Did
go.
you guys hold hands while you guys were talking? Like put your
All the
hand on
time.
the camera and he puts his hand on the camera and you guys like if
Well,
you
no, but he's in a different state.
I know.
We know that.
That's how you
so
guys
he did a
touch.
Halloween episode that was before we were filming, and we actually did that one with him on my lap, and we shared a camera.
Oh, he was on
mic.
your lap.
Yeah.
Did he
We
like
shared
stand-
we shared headphones
course
too,
we-
actually.
Did you like sitting on my lap?
Was it like a Santa Claus sit on your
Yeah.
lap or
No, much more erotic.
Oh, do tell.
It was like if he was Santa Claus and I was a stripper.
At least you were the stripper.
Like he was an orchard worker and I was the estate owner, and I caught him stealing apples. That kind of sit on my lap situation.
Oh, she got spanked at the end
All right.
too.
All right, let's go.
So
Let's go.
It was lap down. So anyways,
Slap down from the slap down.
Oh my god.
I'm sorry, RYNO. I'm sorry.
this is what I'm going to start off with. We are going to give our opinion on whether or not the movie was good at this particular juncture of the show. So I'm going to start that argument because I do feel like I'm going to get that in return. And I would like to start with this particular sound effect, Jack. If you could please give me the round of applause.
Oh, there you go.
Superman got a standing ovation from me, metaphorically. I didn't obviously stand up in the theater and clap my hands, but this is, without a doubt, in my personal opinion, the best Superman movie we've ever gotten.
Opinion destroyed.
I would put Henry Cavill's Superman slightly above Corn Sweat, but Corn Sweat knocked Superman out of the park, in my opinion. But this, to me, this was hands down the best Superman movie we've ever gotten, ever.
The best. Are you sure?
Hands down.
Come on.
And this is coming from a Man of Steel apologist. I have been the only one on this show who has defended Man of Steel top to bottom. This is without a doubt the best one, in my opinion.
James Gunn missed. I told you when I saw you. James Gunn missed. It's okay to miss. It's a hard story to get. But the movie overall, it's not like horrible trash, but it's not good either. There's a lot. I have a lot of problems. You're okay. Let's go. First scene in the movie. First.
Oh, what are you doing?
Oh, that's right.
What's
That's
your
right. We're going.
opinion?
Save that for after the break.
Okay. Yeah. No. James Gunn missed. That's my
Jeez
opinion.
Louise.
That's my opinion. Sorry, James Gunn missed, but he didn't miss. He didn't miss and lose. He just missed.
Do you want to just
Now,
take
hold on a second. Before you begin, I have to say this. I have to get this off my chest because it's just been like right here. I'm praying that you agree with me.
Who agrees with you?
You don't
It's going to be a
don't
hard
do this.
in hell.
Don't do this.
Okay, hold on. All right, I have been very critical of Superman in the past, no doubt about that. I don't like the character.
He's going to do it.
He's very boring.
Yes.
He's somebody who
He said the character, not the movie.
hard to make a movie about and make it do well. So you have somebody like James Gunn who comes along and adds all these external factors into this movie and totally redeems himself, baby. This
are
movie was
fucking
the
nuts.
fucking bomb.
No way.
This was
Where's Ryan?
easily the best Superman we've ever seen.
No.
Corn Sweat, to me, was better than any Superman I've seen. I like the elements. There are things I didn't agree with, but top down, this was an incredible movie. I was so excited to see it again as soon as it was over. Corn Sweat was great. I thought Lex Luthor was diabolical. I thought was really like this hit so many good notes for me. If I'm telling you this, guys, look at me in my face here on camera. This is, to me, it was a top 5 comic book movie. Period.
What? No.
Oh my
Stop
God!
it.
Yes,
You are
dude,
out
let's
of
go.
your mind. You are both cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs.
Top 5. for sure.
We will get into the reasons why, of course, after the break. But a couple things that I do want to touch. This isn't a spoiler of any kind because we are telling you our opinion of how good the movie is. The one thing that we had talked about, I believe, a couple of weeks ago, the gentleman, I can't remember his name, the gentleman who played Beast, he played Lex Luthor.
I love him, and I can't ever remember his name.
We had talked. We had expressed our.
Can I hit
Google
the
music? Google music.
Nicholas Hoult.
Nicholas Hoult.
So we had talked a couple times about like our fears. Is he going to be able to be a good Lex Luthor? Like we were unsure if we saw that potential in him with that particular character. Listen, this dude was Lex Luthor in this movie.
I think he flat out reinvented Lex Luthor.
It was so good.
I think he. Anyway, I'm not going to go too much into it.
I agree with you, Lex Luthor. They finally got a villain. Okay, but he wasn't really a villain. And why was he the villain?
I think there's a little bit more complex subject matter here that we could unpack as to why that is.
Let me ask you a question. Out of all the protagonist characters, who was your favorite?
Mr. Terrific.
Amen.
Hands down.
What do you mean? Mr. Terrific was an amazing character, but I also loved Guy Gardner. I loved Guy. I liked Hawk Girl. She was kind of the most.
She was a little too much
of them, but I liked the way they did her. I thought she was good. I mean, like, to say she was the most she was still great. I liked her.
Too much Yelena in
Mr. Fantastic. Too much what?
Too much Yelena. It made me feel like she was like trying to be too much like her.
I think.
Well, that's how Hawk Girl is. Hawk Girl is for lack of a better phrase, she's kind of a bitch.
Yeah, and she's very get rich or die trying. You know what I mean? She's willing to get shot 9 times just to put out that banger of an album. She's a little bit different, but I thought the way they did her was okay. I liked her. Again, I liked the entire Justice Gang, but I still feel like of the 3 of them, she didn't get okay. And here's another thing to say:
Crypto was the best character in the movie.
She didn't get enough time to shine. Really,
no, she did
hardly in the movie. So that's not a critique. She just didn't get nearly as much face time as Mr. Terrific or Guy. But anyway, I digress.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely not saying that she did a bad job. It's just that she wasn't there. I mean, she had a few cool moments, but she just wasn't there.
Yeah. All right. Well, boss, we taking a break?
Yeah, let's take our first break.
Ready to break out of
this. This is your final warning.
Yes.
When we do come out of the break, we are going to get directly into Superman spoilers. So if you don't want to hear anything to spoil the movie, hit pause.
And I know RYNO's running the show, but we're not going to allow Nello to do his word diarrhea and jump over 3/4 of the movie before anybody else gets to talk. So we'll be right back.
Imagine if
we're back.
And we're back. Second one still got him 4 seconds later. Ladies and gentlemen,
they did not hear what we were talking about.
Yeah, we were just talking about sports for a little bit.
Yeah, the game was great. So, last chance. This is the spoiler portion of the show. We're going to hop right into it. And listen, I knew 30 seconds into this movie that it was going to be a banger. Because the very first element we got of Superman was him getting the brakes beat off of him. It set the tone right away that Superman wasn't God. He wasn't unbreakable. He wasn't was he the Man of Steel? Like, it set the pace right away. Right. Him needing Crypto to drag him across the ice to the Fortress of Solitude. Him needing to be regenerated with the yellow sun. Oh shit, this dude really was hurt. He really was on the verge of death.
Yeah, right away we ribs, a ruptured colon, ruptured stomach or whatever.
Wow, real nice. But I mean, that's one of the things we talked about. Like, our fear of this movie was going to be, was Superman going to be the Superman we always got, the guy that couldn't be beat, the guy that couldn't be knocked down, and right away we knew that wasn't going to be it.
Yeah, I agree. I think showing Superman's humanity was a much more prevalent part of this, and not to mention James Gunn did something that I feel not a lot of Supermen have done. Again, I'm not the avid Superman guy. I've got Man of Steel to go off of and a couple of Christopher Reeves movies I've seen decades ago.
You forget about Dean Cain. Don't you dare.
Well, anyway, they made Metropolis a character in the movie, just like Dark Knight made Gotham a character in the movie. So Metropolis and its inhabitants already being very opinionated about Superman globally, it kind of set a Superman against not only his villains, but against the people. Well, and not necessarily against, because there's a lot of people who love Superman, but the fact that he's contending with their opinion of him versus his actions of trying to do overall good, I thought was a very compelling side to him. And the fact that he's such a morally good character, which, by the way, the fact that he refused to cuss, I was like, oh, I love it. I love it so much. I mean, he says super shits at some point, but at one point when he's like, what the heck? Come on, man. Come on. It's like he's talking to the dog and he refuses to swear when most people would. I was like, oh man, they're really drilling home this morally good guy. But the thing that I loved that I think we've talked about on this show at nauseum is you don't ever have a top tier and S tier superhero movie. This is Superman or otherwise, without a compelling villain. And this movie is not what it is without Mr. Holt. Lex Luthor, to me, is just as important to the narrative of this movie and the reason it was such an overwhelming success for me as Superman was. And Superman was great.
Yeah, not that great. It was good.
Okay. So give us some reasonings and some characteristics that you felt were not great about Superman.
I think James Gunn was petty.
Okay, we're not talking about James Gunn.
No.
We're talking about the movie.
Right. I think James Gunn was petty. When he keeps hammering the fact, brains over brawn. When you want to talk about the Bavaria guy, the Hammer, you see him in that suit one time.
Why?
That's it.
Why?
In the first scene, he's in that suit. Hold on. And then he changes. He's not the Bavarian Hammer anymore. He's Ultraman.
Were you watching the movie?
I was watching the movie. He is in that suit, whatever. He's the Hammer of Bavaria or whatever. Whatever.
It was a show that Lex Luthor was putting on, dude. That was
it was a show that Lex Luthor was putting on, right? And then he's like, I've actually created Ultraman, and it's the same person.
Well, you're not going to admit to the world that you have a person that destroyed half of Metropolis, bro.
Now, here is why I think James Gunn is petty.
I'd love to hear why he's petty.
When they go into space and they bring him down and all that, his mask comes off. Did Ultraman or whatever the hell his name is look like Henry Cavill? Yes or no?
Not even a little bit. It was
by
Corn Sweat.
Yes, I know, but the long hair, the way they did the cameras, the hair in his face, to me, it was a shot at Cavill. And I think that was petty because he kept saying brains over brawn. Right?
So can we get back to what the original question was when he asked you why Corn Sweat wasn't a phenomenal Superman?
Right. Yeah, that's what I want to know.
I think Dean Cain is the greatest Superman in all.
Okay,
time.
you're not answering my question.
So, I didn't like that he didn't resonate with me. I get that they're trying to make him all wholesome and stuff like that. To me, if Lex Luthor isn't in this movie and the supporting cast isn't what it is, this is a big heaping pile of dog poop.
I think you had, and forgive me if I'm wrong, of course.
No, you're not wrong. I had very high hopes for this movie.
No. I think you had some agendas that you wanted to see. You wanted to see something between Gunn. You're looking at a studio level instead of watching the movie. But Corn Sweat was portraying it like the American dream. He was a good bumbling, Clark Kent, and he was a good Superman, not in the sense that they made him overpowered, but the fact that he at one point tries to save a squirrel. Like he was like, I am trying to save everyone. That to me is the essence and the embodiment of Superman. I was watching the performance on screen, not reminiscing days of old of other Superman. First of all, I do not think he tried to make him look like Cavill whatsoever. The point of him having the long hair was he had this dummy Superman that he could control, and he didn't care about the way that he looked.
I don't know.
He just cared about the job that he was doing, not making him well manicured. He wasn't taking his mask off to show him. He was a propaganda machine to make Superman look weak. That was the point of Ultraman. And he was saying, I can do that because I've genetically engineered this guy. He doesn't say anything about that he's cloning Superman, because then there's huge red flags. It implicates Luthor. So he's making this whole other entity. Just trust me, I've got this guy. And then
which he does admit that he cloned him from stealing his hair strand through his battles.
Right.
Yeah, but he admits that when he knew he was pretty much fucked.
Yeah, he admits that on CCTV to Superman when he thinks Superman is going to die in a black hole. That's why he admits it. He doesn't admit it openly. Lois and Jimmy and the folks from the Daily Planet are the ones who out all of that, which, by the way, the young lady who plays Luthor's love interest, who is super annoying.
You mean Jimmy's love interest? She loves Jimmy. She
went from my least favorite character to my favorite character in that one turn. She's like, here's everything. And she sent all the selfies. I was like, this bitch, sorry, pardon my French. I was like, this chick, that was a stroke of
you
genius. You
already said it. Why are you going to double down?
That was a stroke of genius. She was just sitting there like, okay, gotcha. I'm not as dumb as you think I am. I'm going to keep taking these pictures. But so here's the thing with Corn Sweat. I just felt like he embodied the character. He was able to show the vulnerability. And in order to have him fight something that was compelling, as soon as that mask was coming off, I was like, it's Superman. It's a clone of Superman. That's the only way it makes sense. The only reason they do a reveal like this. And I loved it. I was waiting to see who that guy was the entire time. So
I pieced that together a little earlier.
Yeah, once he walked into the palace or his castle or whatever, I'm like, all right, he's either cloning. He's something's right with this guy.
Well, I kind of started piecing it together almost right away, because you could tell when he took the whatever of Bavaria suit off,
Hammer of Bavaria,
and he was walking through that portal. Like, you could tell right away he was walking very robotic, like he was obeying commands, and there was nobody actually behind the wheel. So that's kind of like about 20 minutes after that, I was like, you know what? I bet that's Superman clone for sure, because he beat the brakes off him.
99% of Jim Bros.
We should apologize to all Bavarian people, which are Germans. It's Boravia. Just
whatever. Bavarian people.
Boravia.
Sorry about that. But so back to Corn Sweat.
Bavarian fans.
Were those countries real? I thought they were made up.
No, but Bavaria they're real term. Boravia is not.
Boravia is the name of the country. I accidentally called it Bavaria.
Me too.
That's what
Corn Sweat. His Clark Kent was perfect. Now I said Cavill is a little bit higher than Corn Sweat, but that's just because I'm a little bit of a Snyder bro, and I have a personal bias with Henry Cavill. But this guy fits Superman top to bottom better than Henry Cavill fit his Superman top to bottom. We talked about Ben Affleck being the best Batman because he was not just a great Batman; he was a great Bruce Wayne as well.
Yeah,
I mean, I've made that argument.
Michael Keaton is the best Batman.
That's
Corn Sweat is a great Superman, and he was a very great Clark Kent.
Yeah, he was.
So calling him the best Superman is a very valid argument to make.
Did you feel cheated that the whole Clark Kent Superman secret was not like a secret because everybody like I don't know, maybe I was just holding on to nostalgia. I just felt like when in towards the beginning of the movie, they interact in the Daily Planet, like Clark Kent or whatever, and then Lois goes home and he's making her breakfast and they're already hooking up. Like there's no build up to the love interest. You're already getting that. To me,
we've already seen it several times.
No, I didn't feel cheated. I felt like, thank God it's over with. Like, it skipped the first 8 dates of the awkward. Mind if I come back to your place? Fucking Porky Pig trying to ask out Lois Lane. No, I don't want to see that.
But everybody
I'm happy
knew.
It was already there.
That's the whole point. Everybody does know that they're a couple, so we don't need to go 8 pages backwards. Just get us to the second chapter already.
Well, and also the chief knows that Superman is hooking up with Lois Lane. He doesn't make the connection that it's because they did mention this, and I'm still waiting for the audio clip where RYNO said something.
Dude, I'm not going to go through 200 episodes, but I promise on everything that I told you guys.
It's all hearsay.
People don't know Clark Kent is Superman because of his glasses.
Well, anyway, Guy Gardner drops that bombshell and says he wears the hypno glasses. That's why nobody can tell who he is. So I thought that was a good way to explain that away. I don't care. So the hypno glasses, great. I thought this was a good little MacGuffin for them to go in and talk about to move past that. Again, why would we want the same old turd hammered out again? Move on.
Yeah.
And they started giving us exposition in the first 30 seconds of the movie. I was like, oh, thank God. I don't have to see a baby in a pod. I don't have to see him raised by, his dad and mom in good old Kansas. I just thought the only thing that I thought was a bit interesting and controversial, and I don't think it was answered succinctly. Maybe it was, maybe it wasn't. The Kal-El, Jor-El, and his Mama Il, the message about dominating the earth. I was like, okay, everybody keeps going, these are experts, they know. No, I don't think they do. I think this is Lex Luthor.
Alien language?
I think this is Lex Luthor, and they have no idea what they're saying. And so for them to finally be able to use the engineer to decrypt the message and then say all that, I was like, I think they're still pulling strings. I don't think they're going to have Jor-El stay an evil entity. But now, I love that he connected with his parents. That was cool. But
so they have, in a few of the more recent Superman storylines, they have retconned that into Kal-El's past, where Jor-El was actually an evil person. He did send, so that is a newer Superman story. It made sense for the plot, because
let me just say that's a minor gripe, because I don't care, because those characters aren't coming back. Now, for him to have that mental congestion with it, I thought was great.
That's why I liked it, because my personal favorite scene in the entire movie, right? So we see Superman get his ass whooped right away. It doesn't break him down.
But we don't see him right away. We just see him land in the snow,
which is good.
We see that he did get his ass whooped right away, and then that didn't break him. He got healed. He went right back to the fight. We saw how much he struggled personally with all of the criticism he was receiving on social media, things of that nature, but it didn't break his spirit. He still kept going out there. It wasn't until he finally learned the truth behind his parents' message, and the scene itself is when he flies back to Lois's apartment and he sits down on the couch, and in the background you can see the Justice Gang fighting that monster.
I think that was his apartment, by the way.
Or whoever's apartment it is.
That was
I wasn't paying attention to. So he flies up to the apartment, sits down on the couch, and it's the first time that you see him just exhausted.
Yeah.
Where he no longer has the drive to go out there and fight. And he's questioning what he's even fighting for. And that's how important that message from his parents actually was to the movie, because it finally broke him.
I don't think he was contesting with what his purpose was. I think he was contesting with the morality of what they would have wanted. I don't think for a second Superman was going to stop being Superman, but he was
no. I didn't mean it like that. He was just, it was upset. A confliction.
Yeah, with the fact that people thought that about him after all that he had done.
Exactly.
But go ahead, Noah.
Here, back to the Jor-El video. So Lex Luthor says, this is what he said. I have all these experts in alien languages, which, by the way,
he did not say in alien languages.
He did. He said, I have 20
foreign languages
and all this crap, whatever.
Foreign languages.
So this is an alien language. So that's like me and you finding an ancient Sumerian text and going to there and be like, you know what? This says that the planet was created by...
Hold on. You're skipping a key element, because you and me are not scholars in linguistics.
Neither
I'm sure if we were. No, but
Lex billionaires
more money than anybody else on the planet. So I don't doubt that. And here was when I started to kind of have a challenge with it, was when Mr. Terrific came in and said, hey man, I know who's saying that this is accurate. They don't lie. They're telling the truth. Those people, I know who they are. And I was like, oh, okay. So they had it reinforced from an evil person, which this was all Lex Luthor wanted.
But he doesn't want to see, he's never seen the whole video, and he doesn't want to see the whole video not translated, because he knows the language.
No, he doesn't.
He doesn't know the language?
No, he's a baby.
But it's got to be it's in that the castle, the whatever.
In this particular story, they make it very clear that he does not speak Kryptonian, because it's his super bots that translate it for him.
It's like the message.
Now, so he never wants to see it once.
It's not what
they tell him it's broken.
You are making very definitive comments.
No, but she fixes it.
No, hold on. It doesn't matter. He doesn't want to rehash the past. He just wants to move forward. That's what he's trying to do the entire movie and keep being a good person. So he's focusing on the parts of his life that are good. Now, you want him to go back and go, now show me the whole video where they're evil so I can then, okay, they are evil? 100%? Are we sure? No, he just says, let's move on. I'm going to go with what I know is good, which are my parents who raised me, the people who brought me on or raised me on this planet, the reason I exist. I'm going to watch this. Instead of focusing on the past and all the nonsense, I'm going to focus on what's good and what's right in front of me. And that's a very Superman thing to do. Superman is not the one who's going to sit there and try to figure out why his parents might have wanted that, what the Kryptonian Empire would have been had he come and shown up to be something different. That's a Batman move. This is not Batman. This is Superman. He is the truth, justice, and the American way, or hope, or whatever he wants to be. So for him to take that move and say, nah, I'm not going to focus on the negativity because I'm not a symbol of negativity. I'm going to move forward and I'm going to keep being that beacon of hope for people. That was a very Superman move, in my opinion.
So Lex Luthor creates a parallel universe,
a pocket universe,
universe with a black hole in it.
No, it created a black hole due to what he was doing.
Well, wasn't there a black hole where the river of plasma was running through that?
That's because of what he was doing. That's the one scientist even warned him that would happen.
And Mr. Terrific said, if you keep these portals open and at any given time,
which is
a
why,
black hole could open up because of what's going on in here. This is why you don't do it. He says at the moment he walks in. And so they keep it open much longer than they should because they're trying to find Superman.
Did it feel too much like a collector? Like, you know, when the collector, you go through the collectors and guardians and all those people are in those glass cages. When you see Superman and the Martian element over there in those cages, to me, it just felt too much like a collector scene where you see all these things around.
Maybe I think you're purposely going out of your way to make
I think you are looking, I think you're looking a little bit too far into it. I think with the way I looked at it precisely was Lex Luthor's vanity at work. He wanted people to see him winning. He wanted them to be helpless seeing him do what he was doing. He wanted to manipulate. He wanted to get what he wanted at any means necessary. That's why he said he had ex-girlfriends, somebody who wrote nasty blogs about him, and people he was trying to make partnerships with around the world. Any of their enemies, he would just have Ultraman go grab them, pop them in the pocket universe, and then nobody could find them. Nobody would be able to see where they were, track them down, no geolocation. It was kind of a stroke of genius on Luthor's part. And that was another good thing about Lex Luthor, is he was absolutely ruthless. And my favorite part about Lex was when Superman was fighting Ultraman and he looks at the camera and goes, you're vain. And Lex is like, yeah, I know. Yeah, I hate you. I hate the fact that everybody loves you. They choose you, so fine. They want you, they're going to get you. But then they have to deal with me because I'm going to do whatever the fuck I want because you aren't going to be the person that they think you are. You're going to be who I'm going to make you because they love you. Fine, I'm going to ruin you. And that was his whole thing. And his, like, the fact that I thought this was kind of, I figured out how they were going to beat him pretty early on because they kept having the cameras and Superman's got the super hearing. So he's got to have been hearing L1, R2.
Apparently not.
B3. Well, no, so he literally says that into the camera. I mean, it wasn't even a super hearing thing. When Superman's on his back and he's saying 1A, 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 Superman figures that out. And that goes to Nello's issue with the brain over brawn.
Well,
that was super. What?
You're misunderstanding me because when he's the Hammer of Bavaria, either they're just showing him images and he's seeing the images in the Hammer of Bavaria, or they're telling him in the mic in his ear because he had to see what was happening in order for him to do what he needed to do, right? Ultraman?
Yeah.
So that was my only thing, is I just wanted clarification on how Ultraman was receiving these.
No, it was a head. Well, also not only that, but that was another thing they didn't really 100% clarify. But when he's shouting out those commands, it's people putting they're inputting it on a computer.
I understand that.
Right. They're
So
playing.
I don't even think
to them who are sending it to Ultraman.
Yes.
I got that. So that's my question: is how is Ultraman receiving that information?
I think he has a computer implant in his brain, and they are physically controlling what he's doing.
No, that's bullshit, because Crypto takes out all the cameras, and that's when Ultraman becomes.
That would actually prove my point, because they're still giving inputs.
No, not when Crypto took out the cameras. Those inputs were gone.
I think this is a bit of let me just go ahead and say this. This is a silly argument to have. It's still a fantastic sequence. I think.
Yeah,
this is going down to the nitty gritty details. But the fact that maybe in the Hammer of Bavaria suit, he has some sort of heads up display that he can see that Superman can't. But the reason it fucked him is when he was Ultraman, they had to have the cameras shouted out to him because they had no idea what was going to happen. So that's
he could have also had a earpiece in his helmet. But I mean, we're also discounting the fact that it could have just been him as the man seeing Superman beating the shit out of him, and it was like, oh shit, now I need to fight back. Just a primal instinct. The original point I was going to make was, Nello's been saying brains over brawn the whole time. When Superman says that was him showing Lex, hey, I actually can outsmart you, because I just heard everything you did and figured out what you're doing to me. Now I'm going to beat the fuck out of this dude in a way that you've never seen before.
Well,
he got his ass kicked 3 times before he figured it out.
That's what I'm talking about. So when Lex is talking to Superman through the camera, and Superman can see him on one of the things flying around, the drones flying around, he shouts out 1A like 4 or 5 times, and every time he shouts it out, Wonder Man punches him in the face.
Yeah.
So he's hearing Lex Luthor scream these things out because they're having a conversation while fighting.
The same thing is happening over and over again.
So that's why Superman makes the comment, brains over brawn, right, Lex? Then starts kicking the shit out of Wonder Man in a way that Lex has never seen before.
Well, I think...
And they get the drones, too.
I disagree with you. I think he was saying, oh, you think you're smarter? Well, let's see if you can outsmart the dog. That's what he was saying. Mm-hmm. You're so fucking smart? Okay, deal with this dog. He goes, because the dog's going to think these are little balls. And he says, get the toy. And there's no intellectual thing that Luthor can do to stop Crypto.
Because the dog doesn't listen to anybody.
By the way, Crypto...
Amazing.
He was an excellent character. He did a lot of things in this movie. He lifted a lot of weight for the little amount of time he was in the movie.
Saved his ass multiple times.
He also... no, he didn't.
Yeah, he did.
Saved his ass one time.
And in the Rift.
But what I was going to say is the fact that Crypto did so much for the entire movie, right? He shows companionship for Superman. He shows Superman still kind of hasn't figured out the whole Superman thing. He also made Lex an incredible villain because Lex steals the dog.
Yeah, dude.
Steals the dog and then tortures the dog. That set Lex up as just a despicable human being. Him shooting that dude in the head, I could care less. Him torturing the dog, I was like, okay, Lex, I got you.
So I made this. I just wanted to say this real quick about Lex Luthor. I was talking about this with my wife before the show, and I said that a great villain is a character that you absolutely despise, but an actor's performance that you love. That's what makes a great, like, I loved what's his name again?
Nicholas Hoult.
I absolutely loved his performance as Lex Luthor. I absolutely hated Lex Luthor in the movie.
I think somebody that you can understand and kind of I guess identify with a little bit too for a villain for me. Not that I support it or I think that I'm that way, but I can see a billionaire like that wanting to do that to Superman. So I understand the motive when I see what he's doing. It's more than just, I think he's dangerous as an alien. No, people love him and nobody loves you because you're an asshole and you can't handle that. And you can't handle that. So what you do is you take what everyone loves and fine. You don't love me, then I'm going to take the thing that you do love. And that's Superman. Great. I'll find a way. And I just loved how maniacal he was in studying everything. Superman falls into the concrete and a random person came up to speak to him. Lex goes, who's that guy? Find him, find out who he is, what he knows, everything he knows. That showed just how obsessed with Superman that he was. And I was like, damn.
And then he kills him.
Well, I mean, he kills him and he doesn't care. He goes,
Yeah.
"Oh, I didn't think that was going to happen that quick. Well, I'm going to go find somebody else that you love. And we're going to come back and do this again tomorrow." It was more about breaking Superman. He didn't care about any of these people, and that was his downfall as a villain, right? Is he needed to care about the people around him, but he never could. So.
That's what made Lex great, because that's his ultimate downfall always, was that he's so self-absorbed, and nothing else matters but the mission.
I think Superman, I think Lex Luthor is almost more untouchable than Batman villains because of his antagonist or his protagonist. He's kind of like, I mean, Superman runs in there to confront him and he's like, "What are you going to do? Go ahead, film it. What are you going to do? You're not going to do shit. I know you're not going to kill me on camera. Come on, Superman, what you got?"
And see, there's even been stories where they allude to Batman killing the Joker. And it's one of those villains where you'd be like, all right, yeah, cool, Batman killed Joker. All right, story's over. But if Superman ever killed Lex Luthor in a comic book, it's either a story about him becoming an evil Superman, or you'd be like, what the fuck happened?
Why would he do that? Is what your question is. Why is he killing him?
Do you guys like the foreshadowing of the Justice League with the Hall of Justice?
What was the foreshadowing?
The Hall of Justice, where the Justice Gang was hanging out in. It even looks like the building.
I mean,
from the comics.
I did not pick up on anything until I see a Wonder Woman or an Aquaman or a Flash or a Batman. I'm not thinking Justice League. I honestly didn't even pick up on that, even though it was Justice Gang. Like, I love
Justice.
I know Hawk Girl's great. Mr. Terrific is going to be somebody who's clearly going to be featured a lot.
And you clearly see the Martian Hunter as a baby. So
I don't know about that.
That's not going to be the Martian Manhunter, bro.
His name was Jason. Is what
the Martian Manhunter comes from Mars.
Can we find out what his name is too? The particle man? Is that what it is?
I'm on it.
Geology boy.
He creates a sun in the little pocket dimension. That was like, I was like, whoa, this dude's just a throwaway.
Yeah. When he did that, I was like, I really hope he comes back in some. What is it?
Metamorpho.
There we go. All right. I to be honest, I really enjoyed his character. I love the little element they gave with his son and how, he was doing what he had to do to protect his family, and then all of a sudden he's like, holy shit, this is Superman, maybe he can help me, and then becomes part of the team. I thought that was a pretty cool little character development there.
Yeah, I agree. Do we feel like that DC has revitalized with this? They bought more time. You feel like we need more?
Yeah, I'm excited for the future of the DC. I think this was the perfect way to kickstart their franchise. I think if they continue in this direction, they're going to give the MCU a very tough run for their money. They're going to give the MCU a reason to keep up, because if they continue to produce stuff like this, DCU is going to be at the top quickly, in my opinion.
We have a bet going for a crispy dollar, me and this gentleman right here. Al will tell you the numbers.
Oh, that's right.
We'll tell you the numbers of that gross this weekend. 220 million, 125 in the United States, and 95 globally.
Solid start. I may actually lose that crispy dollar, and I actually thought about that when I was in the theater watching the movie. Man, that was really good. I may be losing another crispy dollar.
When I say top 5 superhero movies,
you're not wrong.
I'm not saying that lightly. There were so many elements in this movie that made it compelling. I mean, the dog, him seeing his parents, I mean, his relationship.
Even Supergirl at the end.
Him flying off the handle at her when she's trying to interview with real facts. I mean, she was like, "You don't want me to interview you." He's like, "Yeah, it'll be fun." And she's like, "You don't want this, man." And then
you don't want the smoke.
Started to completely dismantle him. Guys, go.
All right, ladies.
Can we say
go see Superman?
Conspiracy Corner. India, give me a break. Telling them to take out that scene where they kiss at the end because it was too sexually explicit. Get out of here.
That's going to do it for us for 197 of the Alter Ego podcast. I am your delightfully, wonderfully happy host, RYNO, joined by Jack and Nello always. Please cut the feed immediately.
Oh, all right. Bye, guys.
I'm just saying.